everybody, this is Todd B.
And I'm Erin Ludlam.
Welcome to another episode of Arts Quest. In this episode, we're going to meet local area composer Stephen Griebling.
I'm so glad he said that.
The name, I know, was freaking her out a little bit. But he's an interesting story.
Artist trapped in a suit, essentially.
Yeah, I like the way you said that.
Yeah, 'cause I'm awesome. It's okay.
On this episode, we're going to meet local area composer Stephen
Just Stephen.
Stephen.
He's cool with that. Just Stephen. Griebling?
Yes. That's right. So, let's go meet Mr. Griebling and see a performance by Bonnie L. Brooks.
I worked at Firestone for 40 years as an engineer, even though I was trained as a chemist. I worked as a chemist there for about 2 years, and the director of development said, "Griebling, I think you make a good engineer. I can always make an engineer out of a chemist, but I can't go the other direction. Would you be interested?" I said, "Of course I would." So I worked as a tire engineer for about 30 years, and then I worked as a process engineer for the last 10. But all the time I was doing that, I was composing on the side. As you pointed out, I started my first compositions at the age of 17 after 1 year of piano lessons. I started very late with music. I did sing in choruses when I was in high school and in grade school to some extent, but couldn't read music until I was about 16. So I took piano lessons for a year, and then I began to compose.
I met him about 5 years ago. I'm new to this area and heard some of his pieces through other people singing. His granddaughter sings his pieces, and I've viewed her performances, and she's her own composer in her own right, which is really exciting too. It's a freshness. It's contemporary music. We're living the history. We're in the midst of the history. And to compare him to someone else of a previous history is really unfair, because there's different rules and there's different reasons that Mozart wrote the way he did, or Brahms, or even Schoenberg. And Stephen brings his own set of rules to the music, and sometimes you don't know what they are.
I've always liked classical music. I was very much drawn to the romantic composers like Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, very fond of Debussy and Ravel, very appreciative of Beethoven, and I think I've drawn my musical inspiration from those composers, and I don't really try to copy their style, but I think they influence me from the standpoint of compositional technique and form, and somewhat with the harmony. The inspiration that I obtained or derived from the poetry, I think, set the stage for these pieces. Edna St. Vincent Millay, the poet that I most admire, writes in a very simple, direct, clear style. Her poetry is quite often short, which lends itself very well to writing music. If poems are too long, it's very difficult to write music around them. And if the words are too complicated or too hard to pronounce or obscure, it's difficult to set songs to that too. So Millay's poetry is a natural for writing music. There are 3 songs in this recital called The 3 Songs from the Lamp and the Bell. The Lamp and the Bell was a play that Edna St. Vincent Millay wrote for her 2 sisters and her mother and herself to perform in order to earn money. The Millay father abandoned the family when the girls were quite young. So Mrs. Millay, who worked as a nurse in a local hospital, was the breadwinner for the entire family. And Edna would write these plays occasionally, and the 4 ladies would put them on to earn money to earn bread for the table, basically.
He's very careful to be very honest about the poet, and he tries to inspire the singer through the poetry and through what's called text painting at the piano. So it's fascinating from piece to piece how in his introductions he just, you know exactly what it's going to be about. So he's really quite gifted in this way, because that does not happen in a lot of modern songwriting.
I hope they enjoy the sound of the music. I don't try to be avant-garde. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy, for example, for academic composers or academic teaching in music. I try to compose from the heart, as Rachmaninoff said he did. And I very much admire that style, the romantic style of composition. Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Debussy, Ravel, as I said before. I'm not trying to be a new Stravinsky or a Schoenberg, for example. That doesn't interest me at all. I want to write what I hear and what I really like to hear.
I hope you enjoyed meeting Mr. Griebling and seeing that performance by Bonnie L. Brooks. If you enjoyed Arts Quest, be sure to check us out on our website at artsquesttv.com. You can also visit our Facebook page. This is the part that Aaron loves so much. At facebook.com/artsquesttv. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter. Right there, on that Twitter. You don't have to. Don't feel compelled. You'll just see all sorts of cool stuff. See ya. Bye. Mr. Griebling.
I did it again.
Oh my God.